but it just stinks. It smells of racist undertones, of too many white people in charge in this league who just roll their eyes at both father and son at Colorado.
Y'all done got Skip Bayless upset. Skip Bayless is outraged and calling out the NFL for a little bit of racism when it comes to Shedeur Sanders sliding all the way to day 3 of the NFL draft. We gonna check this out right now. Like the video and subscribe. Let's get it.
I am worn out from watching the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. Pick after pick after pick, starting with the 2nd overall pick. I was on the edge of my seat waiting for his name to be called because he is him. He is he. He is it. He should have gone 1st overall. And the NFL should be ashamed of itself for what it has now done over 3 rounds of the draft to Shedeur Sanders. I'm worn out because I'm so sickened and I'm so saddened over what this league just did to this kid and in turn to his father. I've been doing this for a long time. You can look at my track record on the draft. I'm pretty good, especially at the quarterbacks, at picking the quarterbacks. I would have taken Shedeur Sanders 1st overall, and I dug in on this before the college football season even started. I would have taken him 2nd overall if I were the Cleveland Browns. I definitely would have taken him 3rd overall if I were the New York Football Giants. It was outrageously obvious that he's the best thrower of the football in the draft. He's the best pure passer in the draft. He's the toughest college quarterback I have ever witnessed. Over and over, watched every snap he took for 2 years at Colorado. The most deadly accurate thrower of the football in all of college football has not been drafted over 3 rounds. The clutchest quarterback I saw in all of college football, again and again and again, has not been drafted for 3 effing rounds of the draft. Why is that? Is it about football or is it personal? The NFL should be ashamed because I don't know what you want to call this. Shedeur and his father got blackballed, or if you want to call it whiteballed, call it whiteballed. Whatever it was, they got balled out. They got voted out. It's like a secret memo was distributed. Don't take him. Let's teach him a lesson. Let's teach Dion a lesson. You can't act like that. It's got to be personal because it cannot be about football. If we're just doing football, and my friend Mel Kiper has been doing this almost as long as I have, if we're doing football, Mel Kiper, who's no fool, had Shedeur Sanders ranked 5th overall on his big board, 1 notch ahead of Cam Ward. I had him 1st. So if it's not football, what is it? Are there racial undertones here? Racist undertones? You be the judge. Racism is so hard to sort of grasp and prove, but it just stinks. It smells of racist undertones, of too many white people in charge in this league who just roll their eyes at both father and son at Colorado. I think it's personal because I think they said, we're going to teach Dion a lesson because you can't have a DJ in the locker room before games and at halftime. I think they said, let's teach the father a lesson that you can't let the kid make $3 million a year in college football and drive 3 or 4 different exotic cars and drape himself with all kinds of NFL style high-pick jewelry, superstar jewelry. You can't let him tap his watch. It's my time. Hey, I'm here to tell you, none of that matters. If you can play, you can play. Neon Dion was as brash and arrogant as you could get. But he worked hard at his craft, and he was the greatest cornerback ever, and he backed it up. Nobody ever backed up brash and arrogant more than Deion Sanders backed it up. On the football field, on the baseball field at the highest level, on the track and field at the highest level. Greatest athlete I ever saw was Deion Sanders. Deion is not a detriment to his son. He is an all-time positive. Greatness flows through this kid's veins. He's it. He's a winner. He's a leader. If you spend any time around, he's really a good young man. I don't understand any of this. He did an interview. Is he confident? Yeah. Is he cocky? I don't know. How do you, where's that fine line between confident and cocky? Can he back it up? You better believe he can back it up. He was raised around greatness, and he will step onto an NFL field wherever he goes, wherever it is. He's going to go somewhere. Somebody's going to give him some shot. Wherever he goes, he's going to step on the football field like he belongs on it, because he was raised to believe he belongs on it. As he tweeted going into the draft, I'm built for this, for whatever happens, great or bad, I'm built. He was built for this.
Now, I was going to skip this reaction, but then when I heard Skip was bringing up the race card, I said, hold on. I see a lot of people upset with what Ocho and Shannon alluded to on Nightcap last night when they brought up race. But now you got the Caucasian man saying it. And I know some people will say, well, you know, Skip just trying to suck up to the brothers or something like that. I don't know, but Skip don't need to say this. And he's keeping the same energy. He's been big on Shedeur the whole time. He said, I would have took Shedeur as the #1 pick. And it was a lot of people who had Shedeur going within the first 10 picks. Now, I see a lot of people feeling like this is a personal attack to his father. A personal attack to Deion, which is sad. And like I said, when Ocho and Nightcap and Shannon, they were bringing up what a lot of people called the race card, because I think a lot of white people, they get uncomfortable when race gets brought into things like this, but it's not always somebody pointing a finger at you as a white person and saying, you're this and you're that. No, but there is a system where some people don't like the type of black men that Deion and his son represent. The confident black man. The black man who's going to come in the system and do his own thing. Some people are afraid of that. Some people feel like, you know, that leads down the wrong path, right? They don't want to see the guy with too much jewelry. They don't want to see the guy walking around with his head up high because they feel like, well, he might come into an organization and do whatever he wants. And maybe some people don't want to be a part of the show and dance of him and his father. I don't know. But a lot of people keep saying it can't be about football. It can't be about size. It was another short quarterback taken before him in the second or third round, and everybody was so upset. So everybody's saying, what is it? It has to be personal. And a lot of people are saying they've never seen anything like this. Not a guy this talented go this far down in a draft. So if you guys don't think it's about racism, then what is it about? And I'll add this. People keep saying, well, a lot of teams are comfortable with their quarterback situation right now. It's not a time where people are looking for a lot of quarterbacks, but it was quarterbacks taken before him. And you got a guy by the name of Skip Bayless who's been around for a long time saying this is the best passer he's seen in the draft. You know, Skip Bayless might say a lot about LeBron James, but he always gives him credit for being a passer and a driver of the basketball. You know, he knows about sports. He knows about passing. I'm telling you, I've been watching Skip for the longest. The first thing he saw in Lonzo Ball was his ability to pass the basketball. And I know I'm talking about basketball, but I'm saying he know about passing, whether it's a football or basketball. He know about people who can pass the football or the basketball. I think it's one of the parts of both games that he loves and admires the most. So I'm just saying, with anything with passing something, he know what he talking about. I'm willing to give it to him, even as somebody who's not the biggest football fan. And let's not forget, as somebody who wasn't the biggest football fan, I can say that line that Shedeur Sanders had, I mean, they wasn't protecting him at all, okay? And even me, I could see that. So he did the best with what he had, if you ask me. If it's not personal, to all my Caucasian brothers, y'all know, I said my Caucasian brothers, my brothers, who I stand in the Starbucks line with, who I go to the rodeo with, who I watch NASCAR with, who I watch golf with, okay? My brothers who I watch Game of Thrones with. When I go to the Star Wars movies and we in there together high-fiving, talking about how they ruined Star Wars. I'm with you. My Caucasian brothers, y'all gotta tell me, if it's not personal, then what is it? And if it's not race, then what is it? What is it? The floor is yours. The comments is yours. Let me know, like the video and subscribe. Skip Bayless, very upset.